Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, I'm going to talk about the unknown, or talk about the pointing of the word unknown, and why I love it as a word for pointing. I think because the problem we can find that arises is we're trying to look for like a conceptual idea to land on. Some sort of like, the mind always, it wants to know things. It wants to be like, oh, this is emptiness, this is non-duality, this is this, and there's a, and even in realization, the thoughts and identity might be seen through, but there still may remain some little part of identity that calls the experience, or not the experience, but the wordless, the unknown, calls it by a name. But what can happen is we can attach to that name, and it becomes a subtle fixation, and identity kind of plants its roots into a word, and this happens organically and naturally. But the problem isn't really so much for yourself, but it's when being talked about, when people talk about it, like, emptiness, it's so amazing, or being, consciousness, the unborn, all these words, right, that are just pointers to the moon, which is the main part, right? All these words aren't the moon itself, they are fingers pointing towards the moon. And when saying these words, if we're in this place where we're seeking, we're sort of looking for the experience of that word, and because a word has a preconceptual idea of what that means, or we have some idea of what being means. Like, we're like, oh, being, yeah, that's that peaceful feeling I get. Or consciousness, or the unborn, oh, that sounds so like, out of reach, or that's some crazy sort of strange idea. I don't even know what that would be like when it's like here in front of our face right now. And we can get sort of lost from experiencing, let's say, truth or the unborn or the unknown to a higher degree through getting fixated on a mental word, or because that ties into beliefs of what that experience has to be like. But the unknown is a nice word, right? And you can get attached to the unknown word, right? Because it points that, like, in the unknown, there's nothing to grab onto. The unknown, the mind can't know it. It's not something that can be known by the mind. It's actually revealed through the absence of trying to know, of trying to wrap your mind. The mind wants to wrap itself around everything. It wants to wrap itself around. It just wants to, I just want to understand spirituality. Whereas it takes a while, but you can't understand it. The mind doesn't wrap itself around and it clicks. What happens is the mind just stops trying to understand. It stops trying to wrap its mind around the unknown, because it's unknown ultimately. There's no words for it, which means it's not a concept, therefore the mind can't understand it. But through knowing that can just relieve, okay, there's no words, there's no conceptual understanding for this. What if I just stopped going into the mind? Because that's the whole seeking, isn't it? It's the mind trying to wrap its head around spirituality. And the energy's up here. But it's like, okay, what if I just stop the energy up here? Stop trying to find it in thought. And like, yeah, I don't know what non-duality is. It's unknown. I don't know what it is. No one does. But when there's not that tense energy of trying to find something, trying to seek, trying to know, trying to put a label, trying to cut reality up into pieces, And there's just the unknown. There's just the unknown. And there's relief in that. There's freedom in the unknown. And we can try to just be with reality in a different way. Everything's unknown. This moment's unknown. I don't know what's going to happen next. And I'm just going to be with it. It's like a state of openness opens up. And there's colours, there's sounds. Right, I know the only thing I can really know is just the experience, but I don't know anything about the experience. That's flavour. I got my conceptual ideas. Oh, there's a camera there, and there's a light and all this stuff, but they're just labels. They're projecting the known onto the ultimately unknown. And we just move into that. We're as seekers, we're looking for this I know now. Yes, now I know what awakening is, or I am, right? I've awoken, but it's like, that's not it. Well, not that that's not it, but that would be a false assumption, that's a false take to make. It's more like, I don't know what this is. I don't know who I am. I don't know what life is. And sometimes that can be a bit daunting. But only to the mind. Because this thing takes care of itself. And it has been. And the mind thinks there's something to grasp. And it needs something to grasp because that's what its identity is built on. It's built on knowing and grasping, and if there's nothing to that, if this is just colors, sensations, energy, or just energy, right? Just boundless energy appearing as all these objects and rooms, right? Or the boundless unknown. Where does I fit into this? Where do I fit into this? Because awakening is like a process of seeing all these beliefs that we thought we knew, like, yes, I'm separate, and yes, I need to wake up, and all this sort of stuff. We just see that they don't actually hold reality. And we're seeing that all the things we thought we knew weren't actually true. They were assumptions. And we assume we know reality, and we can know reality. But it can't be known. Because 1, there's nothing to know, and 2, there's no one to know it. There's just this boundless unknown. And now drop the word unknown. And inhabit it fully. And there's not a deny of individuality, right? There's still the character here. It doesn't mean you become personality, have no personality, and that. No, that's all part of it, right? It's all part of the unknown, expressing itself as the multitude. But for the sake of seeking, because energetically, you don't know. But this world plays out. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please write a comment or send an email, and I'll see you guys on the next one.